Sorry, I didn't mean to stop the video. I had to answer the phone because a parent was on the phone, and of course the child and the parent comes first. So basically this is what I'll continue. So basically, in How Does Learning Happen, as we all know, it is a pie. And it is well-being, engagement, expression, and belonging. And basically, I don't know what you think of when you hear the word pie. Me, because I'm a dessert person, I think of my favorite thing, blueberry. Some might think of it. So everyone has their different vision of what the pie is. It could be the pie in math. But basically, in the words of Diane Cashin, who is a very dear friend of mine, basically a collaborator that I have come in contact with, she's an extraordinary educator. Basically, she says, without either one, you cannot, if you don't have belonging, then all three you won't be able to have. Basically, think of it as cooking. Basically, they're your ingredients. And in order to make that pie taste good, you have to make sure you include all four ingredients. If you don't have that one ingredient in there, then basically it's not gonna taste the same. So that's the way I'm saying it. So basically, as your director coming forward, I'm encouraging all my staff to fill out a How Does Learning Happen form to submit to me. So I, as your educator, being your teacher, who is going to be mentoring you the best way I know how. And basically, I'm asking you to basically submit to me and tell me. If you don't give it to me, that's up to you. That's your choice. But this is your chance to give me something to read that I am going to keep in your file. And I'll be willing to give you a copy for your CPL or anybody else, even if you're not an RECE. If you want to sit with our educators and create a portfolio, because a portfolio is a wonderful thing to have in any job. I had to create one as a student. Any RECE or ECE of my time, basically even before, we all had to create a portfolio. And that portfolio, basically, we didn't think we would ever use it again. And now it is essential. It's like your taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, they will audit you. Well, this is the same thing. So I am educating to my students, to encouraging them, my students, to basically give me a form. Basically telling me how to make you feel belonging, how you feel engaged, how you have expression. And yep, I just forgot. Sorry, that's my teacher brain. So well-being, belonging, engagement, and expression. So basically, I want to know all four so that I, as an educator, know how to help you learn. So, and at the same time, it's a really good thing to have, because what I would do is put it in your classrooms. Now, it's there for your students to read, because when you have students, we're gonna encourage them to do the same thing. So they come in and they make a letter, but I'm gonna help them out already, because I know they're gonna need to do this. But I can almost guarantee you, if I have a professor from Seneca to George Brown to Centennial who's trying to teach these students about how does learning happen, if I'm already given them a step in that direction, I can tell you they're going to say, well, that's a really great idea, because they might take that back to the coordinator of that program, say, hey, look what this center's been doing. Because I have heard on both sides. I've been in the classroom like all my other RECE collaborators and coworkers, where we have heard the positives and negatives of the childcare world. And trust me, you do not want to be in the wrong placement, in the wrong center, because I was fortunate. I didn't have that experience, but I have heard of students basically complaining to the teacher that they didn't like. But the teacher kept them there, I believe, to teach them that, basically prepare that you're going to come across some centers that get a thumbs down and get a thumbs up. So basically, I'm going to bring in the how does learning form. And the next thing that I am requiring is basically, as you know, we have a safe and healthy representator who will be required to have, as of now, not just a first aid CPR certificate and a WMIS, but a mental health training certificate. As basically right now, well-being is this, and what I'm proposing that now, what I would agree is basically I would not just put that responsibility on one. I would have two safe and healthy representatives. So if one didn't have one could use the mental health training certificate, because what we both would do is the same kind of thing. As my safe and healthy representative at my workplace, my staff, she is responsible for going and checking the first aid kits and checking the emergency evacuation bags. Well, if I was the mental health training safe and healthy representative, I would be creating well-being first aid kits. Like, basically, think about it, or adding it into the especially an evacuation bag, where you might have, again, I'm a staff, and I have a medical bracelet on here, basically for my safety and for my center to know that if something happens to me, again, I'm human. Basically, I'm saying that they need to keep an eye on me. I'm going to control it, but it might not come out in the middle of the emergency, but it could come out later on, and they might have to check me. And that's why I'm saying is, like, if you look at the police officers and all them, they have to have counseling. So I do propose that we have someone to come into the center. It could, again, we have a consultant who comes in and checks on students. Well, I've had a consultant who would come and help the staff. Maybe that same consultant could come in and not just look at the students, but look at the staff as well and see where their well-being is. My first director, that is one thing that I would encourage my staff, as she knew that there were moments when we would get in the moment. And what she would say is that if you're ever in the moment, before you do something that you regret, and you're in that moment with a student that is basically trying to push your buttons, basically she always said, please let me know, and I will come and cover you, or I'll send someone to cover you for you to go in the staff room to cool down, or to take a walk around the center until you're ready to come back. Why she said that is because she was basically understanding that our job came with a price to pay. And she didn't want it to be the worst cost of that job. So she basically always said in a staff meeting, as she would point out, us raising our voices, not using positive statements, but then she would say, please, I'm right. I'm only a phone call away. If you are in a moment and you need to step out, please give me a call, and I'll come and step in, or I'll send someone to relieve you. And that basically, by doing that, it saves us basically from going from not just a first party, second party, third party, from a lot of parties. So please, I'm encouraging my staff, you heard my message, please let me know. If you need to rest, please call the office or ask me, and I will come down and I will cover for you. And if licensing or anybody's there, I will explain to them that I'm stepping in to protect the safe and healthy and well-being of my staff. That's just like the children come first for my educators, they come for me too. And right now, as the educator, my staff are my children. So, going on, as my children you are, all educators, because children do come first, and to make it equal in all ways, because again, as much as children don't want to go and get that needle, they have to go and be vaccinated. And they have to have that unless they have a doctor's note. So I am saying that all staff by the end of this year need to have their proof of vaccination basically by the end of November, because I will be preparing policies and procedures for everyone to sign. And basically, if I don't have it, I'm not giving it for you to sign until you bring me a doctor's note saying that your doctor is okay with you not getting the vaccine. But for the safe and healthy and well-being of our center for the child, families, and educators, I am asking for proof of your vaccines or doctor's notes. So if I do not receive those, then basically, unfortunately, when it comes to doing the New Year's plan for staff scheduling, I'm going to have to basically, you'll have to be off. Just like if I didn't have my first aid certificate to start work or my RECE, I would not be allowed to work until I got that done. So that is what I'm proposing. All staff will be required to attend a professional developments in the workplace on either their own time from Eventbrite or other Come and See Me, I will help you and we'll find. Basically, I would like you to take professional developments about the toxic work environments and preventing it, and on child abuse. And I don't just mean once in a while, it will be done yearly along with the CPR. A lot has changed in our world right now, and right now, especially with hospitals being filled and everything like that, and ambulances being in high demand, I need to know that my staff, especially being off from COVID, so much has happened. We haven't had it done. I'm proposing it's done yearly. I want to see a certificate of completion, basically a participation that you've done these things, to go into your file. Staff monthly meetings, I propose to take place to help my director and myself, because we cannot go out of our classrooms. We cannot go out of our office, but we can go to the staff room area. And during this time, actually, if we actually take the staff meetings during this time, we can actually do it before the children come into these environments, because they're not being used at that time. Now, my director right now lives far away, so I'm proposing basically, as I'm closer to that area, I'll basically flip heads or tails. We'll decide which one, and basically, as you can see, I like to talk a lot, and my director prefers to sit back and sip their tea. So basically, I'm saying that I would be willing to take on the staff meetings right now. So, because I am a teacher already in a classroom, so I can be, and I'm connected to the staff room. So I'm saying at 7 a.m. for staff working on late shifts, because if we were doing Mother's Day celebration, we would be expected to be at the center early, just like we did concerts and stuff. Again, this part you're getting paid. So if you want to get paid, and at the same time, what I'm willing to do when you come to one of my staff meetings, I'm going to give you a certificate of participation, which you can put in a portfolio, especially my RECEs. You can now have that to go into your CPL. So at 7 a.m. for staff working on late shifts, we will do a staff meeting. At 5 p.m. for staff working on early shifts, if time conflicts with your schedule, then speak to your coworkers about switching the timing what works for you. So basically, you have your choice to work it out. If there's an issue and people are not working as a team, come and see me. And basically, I'll be willing, not all the time, but I'll be willing. Basically, if you can't make either one of those meetings, then I will be doing a Zoom meeting. Basically, on the time that I just decide to put it on. It will be during lunchtime. So, and it won't be everybody. It will be only the ones that basically can't make these 2 staff meetings. Basically, you're going to sign up for the Zoom meeting for those. So it's going to be a limit of who can do the Zoom with me. Probably it will be one at a time because there shouldn't be too many people getting off or having conflicts with the schedule, because 7 a.m. is before your shift. And what I'm willing that day to do is basically, since you guys came early for the staff meeting, I will basically, on those staff meetings day, I will give you guys the choice of having the early lunch. And for same with the late staff. It might not seem fair, but you know, as we tell our children, life is not fair. So if time conflicts with schedule, as I said, then speak to your coworkers or make arrangements to switch the time. When the warmer weather comes in the seasons, in like the summer, or if fall, we get a nice warm fall, I'm thinking so nice. Basically, in our beautiful infant and preschool playground, we will do our staff meeting out there or in our beautiful school age room. Basically, I'm saying we could do a picnic and sit on the ground, basically like some of us do at home to have our meals, and we will. So this is what I'm saying is, in the morning, if you come, basically I'm saying what we're gonna do at lunch for all of you, we will have what is my favorite is brunch, which is breakfast and lunch. So to thank you all for coming to the staff meeting, my director and I will work it out. We'll take turns, as we used to do in the first center we worked in, basically cooking. We'll cook every month for those of you who participate in the 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. staff meeting. We will cook brunch for you. So it could be a Canadian brunch, or it could be whoever my director is will make the brunch. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because I see someone coming into my office and I need to give them some time. So I'll come back, okay?